think the timing is on this, Richard? How long would this have been in the planning? Because I'm sure that there will be cynics who can see that it's landed at a very difficult time when there might be less energy to take it on from the firm.
Yeah, I mean, there are royal focuses on ill health at the moment. Let's face it, we're all concerned about the welfare of the King and the Princess of Wales. The Sussex drama is an endless drama. It carries on.
Okay.
Whether it was cynically done at this stage, I couldn't possibly say, but I mean, many will think that there is something in that. They've obviously been working on it for some time. These things don't come cheap. It's a complete revamp.
Wait for it.
Probably a very expensive one of their website. They're constantly going through reinvention. I mean, I don't know how many times you and I and Natasha have written about relaunches of the Sussex project. They're constantly doing it. I think one issue that Sarah touched on is interesting about, in her column, she suggested that it's time for the King to take away that title for the Parliament. I think it would have to be a parliamentary act that removed it. But that would...
Wait for it.
Elevate, if you like, Meghan to a princess, because she takes her title from her husband. You know, he is a prince. She would then become a princess. And it's interesting that on this new website, they don't use the Duchess title. It's just Prince Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And it's almost a parenthesis there. Oh yes, we could squeeze princess in there, but we've got no room for Duchess. Duchess sounds a bit old-fashioned. So I think there are dangers in that.
No, I agree. I mean, I completely agree. But let's not forget, this is a
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
couple who trademarked their daughter's name, lilibet.com. So I think we can see where this is all going.
Then came the reports that Prince Harry wanted to return to royal duties. With Sarah Vine in the hot seat that week, Rebecca and Richard Eden
That doesn't make sense.
pick up the story here.
There was a story on the front page of the Times newspaper last Saturday, which appeared to me to be very heavily briefed by Harry's side of the equation. Whether it was done with or without his knowledge, we don't know. But effectively saying he would be keen to come back and step into the fray and undertake more royal duties while his father was ill, and obviously Princess of Wales is not well either.
Wait for it.
It also seemed to suggest that there was a kind of tacit support for the idea here. Now that immediately
From the palace?
Yeah, from the palace. That immediately rung alarm bells with me, because I just know that is not their thinking. And I made some calls and was told very quickly, absolutely not. There has been not even a casual conversation about that here, that we very strongly believe from this side of things that the King, the Prince of Wales, and actually all of the family believe that Sandringham summit, the results of that still remain, where Queen Elizabeth made clear, very, very clear, her view that he could not have a half in and half out role, and if he was going to live in America and pursue commercial opportunities,
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
good luck to him, but that meant he could not be a working member of the royal
I
family.
mean, it's not as
Nothing's
simple as just
changed.
coming back and doing a couple of shifts. I mean, you can't just plug back into something like the royal family. Fact.
No, especially given what's happened over the years. Obviously, no one predicted at that Sandringham summit Harry would go on to do what he subsequently did.
Richard, what was perhaps surprising was that there were quotes from both sides confirming the story.
Yeah, I mean, this was in this Times report that that broke the story, and I think that the dilemma is that the King does, you know, he does want a reconciliation with Harry. That's the thing. So, you know, particularly with his illness, you know, he does welcome that, but
Wait for it.
you've got all the pressure of the palace and the courtiers, and no one wants that Sandringham agreement to be broken.
No.
So I think it's tricky, but I mean, certainly what I've written in my newsletter this week is that Harry's been given a taste of what to expect
Okay.
when his brother is king, and that's very cold, you know, that he, you know, William will veto any return, any official duties by Harry. That's just not going to happen.
No.
And so I think he's already sort of feeling that chill.
News of Harry's desire to do more royal work here coincided with a new legal case questioning his right to be in America. Richard Eden and Rebecca explain more.
This is this really interesting
Okay.
case by this think tank, the Heritage Foundation, that wants to know on what basis Harry was allowed to enter the country. And it's all to do with drugs, that most people have to sign on the form that to say they have to declare whether they've taken illegal drugs in the past. And this
Is it taken or being convicted for?
No, I think they still talk about being a drug abuser.
Right,
actually.
right.
Have you
yeah,
used drugs in the
there's
past?
various declarations that he would have had to make, and they want to know. They want this to be public, and they think there's an important matter of public interest for the Americans to know: is immigration law being respected and carried out? Because their suspicion is that it hasn't been, that there's been different rules for rich or famous people like Prince Harry than there is for your average person. That's what they're trying to find out.
Indeed. Rebecca, we've also received an unexpected intervention.
And she would have been very anxious about the amount of time that Harry would have spent with Charles, because she wouldn't want Charles to get upset or stressed about issues if indeed that was on Harry's mind. Let's take it at face value. Let's assume Harry was there doing his filial duty. He would have, after the King phoned him, which we know he did over the weekend at the time of his illness diagnosis, one can picture Harry saying, "Pa, I'll be there, I'll come at once." And Harry saying, "Dear boy, darling boy, there's no need for that, but if you want to come, of course, you'll be very welcome." But just how welcome and for how long, it is throwing up endless speculation. I mean, why didn't Harry spend the night at Clarence House, his old bedroom upstairs? Those bedrooms no longer exist.
Well, it's a dressing room now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And why didn't Charles say, "Come up to Sandringham and let's have a few days in Norfolk"? We don't think that happened either. So there are all these imponderals, but yes, it was a very interesting insight.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it, Richard Eden? A half-hour meeting and a reported hotel stay. The family's got more rooms in their houses than anyone in Britain. It doesn't really feel like the open arms welcome that perhaps Harry might have wanted.
No, but it's tricky, isn't it? I mean, we all understand that Harry, when he was told that his father had this diagnosis, will have wanted to be with him. But there was something about the way that the press statement was made very quickly, within half an hour. It sort of felt like he also wanted it to be known that he had to go there. It was, for public consumption. And that sort of made people uncomfortable, I think. And then he comes, and who, wants to meet Harry now? That's the thing. Remember, he's lost touch with a lot of his old friends. In his memoirs, he admitted that people contacted him after the appalling Oprah Winfrey interview to tell him, "We thought what you did was wrong." He mentioned the Van Cutsem family, some of his best old friends. You serious? And, these are people that normally he'd want to stay, but, perhaps his old friends don't really want to see him now.
It feels like it's just not his country anymore in a way.
That's the thing. It's tricky. He's taken himself away from that. And now he's a bit of a stranger when he comes. So it's an odd situation.
And picking up Richard Kay's point, why not just stay at Sandringham?
Well, he needs to be invited, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But also Sandringham now, oh dear, it's got terrible memories for him, because that's where they had the Sandringham summit, where he talks about that at great length in his memoirs, how, that was a fait accompli. It was kind of, he felt that it was, he was told that he had to leave and quit duties and, bring back a lot of bad memories from there. So I'm not sure he'd be rushing back to Norfolk in a hurry.
Amid the royal health crisis, there was some eyebrow-raising news from Montecito when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex revealed a revamp of their website, which was seen by many here as controversial. Here, Natasha Livingston explains why, and Richard Kay and Sarah Vine give their reactions.
It's sussex.com, which is a new invention. It's the kind of relaunching of the Archewell website, which was kind of a front for their business and philanthropic aims. And part of the explanation that was given is that, firstly, their team say that Sussex is their name, so they're just using that. And secondly, Archewell was kind of too favourable to their first child, and using the Sussex name name is kind of more unifying for the family. Obviously, it's put quite a few noses out of joint.
Yes, some people are saying
Sussex is
it's
not
a
their
betrayal of the Queen.
Yes, well, in their deal when they left as working royals, they said that they would not use their titles, which of course Sussex is, for any kind of business work or financial gain, and this kind of sits in an awkward position
Wait
with that.
for it.
Now, Richard, obviously supporters of the Sussexes have said and might say it's their name, it's still their crest, why shouldn't they use it?
Yeah, I get that, but I also don't quite get why they want to do this. Let's not forget that the Sussexes are the anti-royal royals. They loathe the institution, judging by everything they have said and written about them since they left Britain. And yet they can't seem to sever the bond. This link is irresistible, it seems.
Yeah.
And you know, one doesn't have to be cynical about this, because clearly there are financial benefits from being associated with the monarchy, not being against it.
And you wrote in your column, Sarah, didn't you, that they are beyond redemption and that you'd like to see the King take a more drastic step.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say Sussex is not their name, it's their title. Their name is Mountbatten
Well,
Windsor.
that's where I was confused.
So it's different. The Sussex is a title that was conferred
Wait
upon
for
them on their marriage by the late Queen. It's not their name. So that is wrong when they say that. And if it is, the only way it could be their name is if they changed it to Sussex by deed poll, which would be an extraordinary thing to do. I think we heard yesterday, didn't we, Natasha, that the children are now apparently called Sussex.
Yeah, it was a report in the Times that that's how the children, they're going about that name instead of Mountbatten Windsor, so that's what they're using.
Right.
Whether or not it's been a legal change, it's not quite clear, but yeah, they're using it.
But I think this is quite dangerous territory for them, because it is a title, and there could be implications, because it's not their name. It's just not their name. Their family name is Mountbatten Windsor.
Now, what do you...